every now and then you see a headline, you're like, dang, like that? And this one did it for me, where Pat McAfee is now the ESPN establishment, even if he doesn't want to be. And that made me just think, like, wow, one, it made me think of Stephen A. Smith, because I know he wants to be ESPN, the face of, but they're saying it's Pat McAfee, and I wonder why. What they're using for evidence now. Why is this article coming out today? That's interesting. But, being a competitor like Stephen A. Smith, like Pat McAfee is, playing competitive sports like I did, they always say comparison. Think about competition. Comparison is the thief of joy. Well, it's time to start stealing, because we're going to figure out what's going on with this. The theme of the outsider turned establishment is becoming quite familiar in American life. Wow. This is going to be deep. So the beginning of NFL free agency, the legal tampering period, is the sports media equivalent of an election night broadcast for cable news. Okay, so we got to read today, I guess, and I'm going to read for us. It's a time when ESPN can bring out all the big guns and flex its domineering, transaction-breaking muscles, while also deploying its fleet of opinionists to tell us what it all means. Tell us what it all means. For many NFL obsessives, today is one of the best days on the calendar. Okay. In prior years, the start of NFL free agency was a banner day for ESPN's news operation. Last year, ESPN's biggest NFL stars, Schefter, Orlowski, Rutledge, Reddick, all contributed to a SportsCenter special dedicated to covering the beginning of free agency at noon on Monday. This year, many of those biggest stars made the pilgrimage to Indianapolis. Where the Pat McAfee show officially took the baton for ESPN's flagship free agency coverage. That's a change of the guard. Are we going to talk about it? Stick around. At this time last year, ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter earned himself what was effectively a 100-day show ban from McAfee when he decided to appear on SportsCenter's free agency coverage on ESPN2 rather than McAfee's eponymous show airing at the same time on ESPN. Today, Schefter is cordoned off in the glass room inside the Thunderdome, serving as McAfee's special free agent correspondent. What a difference a year makes. They show him right here. That's him in Indianapolis, in that little room, doing all those things. Okay. The move is symbolic in a couple of ways. Let's get into it. Come on. It's another confirmation of what ESPN now values in its daytime programming. Personality-driven shows over traditional news coverage. Yes. Going further and further away from sports in the sense of, hey, show us highlights, show us opinionists. No. Show us personality. Okay, I don't want your opinion. I want you to act and entertain me. Oh, yeah, tell me some sports as well. It's a little bit of a difference. Also, it's like MTV going further away from music. You know what I mean? Second, and perhaps more importantly, it's a confirmation that Pat McAfee is now officially what he claims to hate. He's the ESPN establishment. Wow. All right, so since this show has been on, he's been going after the suits. We know that. McAfee seemed to play a part in running out Norby Williamson. We remember that. Relieved of his duties shortly thereafter. Myriad of microdramas. We know that. Pushing the network to hire Shams. That happened. Look past conspiracy theories floated about his corporate parents' biggest on-air star. Yes, that happened. ESPN is giving McAfee what he wants. And in doing so, ESPN has increasingly become a network shaped in McAfee's own image. To the point where McAfee even came out this week and said, yeah, WWE and me, I think that business has passed me by. Maybe it's because he's being held tighter by ESPN and their business. So let's turn back to the network's free agency coverage where they talk about Pat McAfee and all those things. I'm not going to bore you with that. Most of ESPN's top NFL personalities were live from Indianapolis. They're fully embracing McAfee, even if McAfee will never fully embrace ESPN's. Interesting article. This is not to say that McAfee's coverage was any worse or any better. What? Say something then. Did you watch it? I'll leave those value judgments to people who know much football much better than me. That's what he's saying. But today was a seminal moment in the McAfee-ESPN partnership. Rather than keeping its top personalities for itself, ESPN let 3 of them travel to an abandoned church in Indianapolis to serve at the altar of McAfee. They weren't on the sets of Get Up or First Take. They were on McAfee. If that doesn't tell you that McAfee is ESPN, I don't know what does. And the wild part, McAfee can up and leave whenever he wants. He does not have to show any loyalty to ESPN. Perhaps that's partly why ESPN is willing to give McAfee the world. They're like, yeah, anybody want a cheeseburger? Remember what he said before that? Okay, and in return, y'all got to catch that one. And in return, take regular tongue lashes on its own air. To stay in the McAfee business, ESPN has to put up and shut up. Well-written article. McAfee has changed ESPN. It was fair of him to play the role of the outsider. McAfee had his own guests outside the ESPN own ecosystem, who he preferred. He, of course, had his own team, his own studio, his own style, his own set of rules. But now his fingerprints are all over ESPN. The network has only leaned in further to the McAfee playbook in the 30 months since his arrival. He'll never acknowledge it. ESPN ethos is slowly becoming the McAfee ethos. And those suits McAfee always complains about, well, it appears most of them are firmly in this corner now. McAfee hasn't changed. The institution ESPN has. And in doing so, McAfee has remade the ESPN establishment. Boy, I love videos more, don't you? Stop. If that theme seems familiar in American life right now, maybe this picture from President Trump's inauguration will help jog your memory. I do remember this. Like, yo, they are out the closet. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, at Donald Trump's inauguration. Yeah, they were like, yeah, we're gonna let this out. Look at it and his wife. They like, look at Zuckerberg like, this is what we doing? Even though that's his wife. Like, this is what we doing? Can we like, no, never mind. All right, so point being, hey, he done did what he did. He done put it on. He done put it on ESPN. Hey, ESPN called up everybody else on the network. Hey. Other networks, other talent. We ain't never coming home, baby. Never coming home. My toes got crinkled. You know what I mean? He got his toes curling up. Oh my God. Here we go. Let me talk about this. Painting yourself as an outsider, even if you're going mainstream, is a very powerful and compelling message. Just like President Trump has been accepted by what many consider establishment institutions, like the Republican Party and corporate America. McAfee has been accepted by the ESPN establishment. The suits are infatuated with his ability to capture a younger, more digitally native audience. Their business incentives are well aligned with McAfee. As much as McAfee might rail against the powers that be at ESPN, he could be the most powerful voice of them all. Beat it up in the comments. First of all, is he the most powerful voice there? Stephen A. Smith said, I'm on line one, brother. Here's the thing that I did notice after reading all that. What McAfee did was authentic to McAfee. And that's why they got him in the first place. The way he came in is the way he's going out. Whether he stays forever, stays for long, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's there. He's going to be him. And that's one thing you got to respect about him. And he made them understand his language as he already knew their language, right? Remember, McAfee couldn't even get the gig at ESPN before. Remember, McAfee knew what they were looking for in terms of criteria. He knew what their content looked like. He knew their whole structure. He knew that template. And he came in and said, excuse me, Dougie Fresh, let me show you what I got. And then now they had to meet him where he is versus the other way around. Think about it. Who else has done that? Who else? Stuart Scott? And that couldn't even play out the same just because he stayed in-house where everybody else went out and showed you that they could become a cottage industry as well. Dan Patrick, right? Rich Eisen, etc. But Stuart Scott stayed there and made it like, whoa, that's your house. That's your crib. But nobody else really. Everybody else played a game that was already part of the game. You know, maybe you could say Skip Bayless and then Stephen A. Smith with Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless kind of paved that. But I don't even think that. I think that was just a new genre that just came, and then they were the first to do it. And obviously the stars at it. But what I see from McAfee is what the future is, which is the future is getting so fake. AI is taking us so many different directions. We don't know what real from fake is. We're going to be so inundated, so consumed with falseness that it's going to force us to leave all of this consumption of falseness. Like, you just keep talking that fake stuff. Move. I mean, look, that's why I don't watch SportsCenter and stuff like that anymore. I'm like, one, I don't know you. Two, I already seen the highlights. And three, this feels cookie cutter. Like, I just need somebody to just go up there and MF somebody, or I need somebody to curse. I need somebody to fall. I need somebody to be like, oh, well, I don't care. I need somebody to cut somebody off in the interview. I don't need all the, like, every interview is the best. Like, you know what I mean? And we know that motto, and I'm not blaming those people. They just mesmerized by that motto. It's scary to go out there and do you. And McAfee did him. And now he's doing ESPN the way he wants it done. God dang. That is sick with it. Is he the biggest dog? Like, you know, I always go back and forth between him and Stephen A. Smith. But if I had to say it, just because, but you know, at the same time, Stephen A. Smith getting $20 million, they ain't got to pay nobody but himself. McAfee got an $85 million deal. He got to pay everybody you see over there. So it's an interesting dynamic in terms of money and power. Beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you think. But I think that McAfee, man, talk about having your fingerprint on something major. That is sick with it, man. Salute. Respect. Blah, blah. Oh, that wasn't enough? Y'all want some more? Well, check out the link in my bio. Hydration Situation Live. Blah, blah, blah. It's been a decade plus that I knew that this day was going to come.
Oh, this is not hyperbole here.
Because I believe it's the purpose.
Time to hydrate. Hydration's the situation, so.